Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we're going to proceed with our help desk management system. So as you can see, this is our login screen. So I'm going to sign in. So on our application, this will take us to the dashboard. So we have been doing some items on roles management and even rights management. So for those who are following, so this is just a continuation of what we have been doing. So as you can see, this is our dashboard for our tickets. Then we have our ticket details on this other end. We have the assigned tickets, the resolved tickets, closed tickets. Then you have the ticket comments, the ticket categories, the ticket subcategories, the audit trails, the system users, the system codes, the system details. Then you have the system roles. We have the departments, the system tasks, the user profiles, system settings, countries, and even cities. So for those who have been following these videos, we have actually been doing something on roles management. So we are going to proceed with that part. So as you can see, we have a section for you to add roles within the system. So if you add a role, then you can actually assign rights to a role. So on our application, we assign users to roles. Then we now assign roles to rights. So as you can see here, we have some of these roles, as you can see. So you can actually check all the areas. So let me try to zoom. So if you check, for example, like the dashboard, you can check the dashboard. You can control what the user wants to see or do. So you can do that. So you can see as you check, it's able to do that. So you can check everything, or you can actually select some of the items that you don't want them to access. So if you select, for example, this one, it will select everything down here. But you can also remove specific items. So if you do that and save, then the HR officer will be assigned these particular roles. For example, if you select software developer, so you can see they have all the roles. So you can also choose what they need to access. So on our users, we were assigning users to roles. So for example, on this particular table, you'll realize that we have a username, that is the first name, middle name, last name, phone number, email, gender, and the role here. So there's something I want us to check on the database, and of which we did not handle on our first instance. So you realize that in the ASP.NET Core, we have the ASP.NET users table. This actually stores all the users within our application. So you can see here, these are actually my users that have been showing on the portal. So the next thing that I want us to do is you will be able to see that we have the ASP.NET roles. So every role that we are creating in our application is actually being stored here. So you can see we have the ID, name, normalized name, and even currency stamp. Then there's something that I want us now to do. So we also have the ASP.NET user logins. So here you're able to track all those login, that is external authentication and the rest. But I want us today to deal with something called ASP.NET user roles. So this one is able to track the user ID and the role that the user has. So what I want us to do, if you go to our application, when we are creating a user here, we were able to choose a role on this end. So what we need to do is, whenever you create a user, we should be able to log some details to this particular table. So you see we have the ASP.NET user roles. So we should be able to log those details here. So I want us to create a user. So I'll just say macro. So this will be macro code. Then here will be admin. Then you'll say this is mail. Then role will be a software developer. Then email address, we can say macro code admin. Then you say at gmail.com. Then you can put in some details there. Then username, I'll just put it this one. Then I'm going to provide my password. But I don't want to create this. So what I want us to do is, when we go to a user's controller, and create action. So this is where we were creating users. So you realize that we were providing the user who is logged in here, and we changed this. We actually did user, then we say .get user ID. So this was a user, this one. Then we were able to say get user ID. So this, we were able to get the user who is actually logged in. Then you can see that we were able to now register a user, assign these particular details, first name, middle name, then even the role. Then we were able to create the user here. And we were able to pass the register user details and even the password. Now, what I want us to do is whenever we register a user, we should now be able to map the user with the role and populate it on the ASP.NET user roles table. So how do we do that? So if you go back to our controller at the top here, we have something called user manager. So you see we have this user manager. So if you come here, after creating the user successfully, what we need to do is we need to say here, await. Sorry. So we need to say await. So here we'll just say underscore, that is await underscore user manager. Then I want us to add a role. So if we say add role, you see add role sync. And if there's a roles, you can actually add multiple roles. You can see, you can add multiple roles, but we are going to add role. Then for when we are adding a role, we should pass two things. We should pass the user, who is the one you are adding the role, and you should pass, and you should pass the role. So the role is actually the role ID. So what we need to pass here is actually the role. So here we are going to take this one. So we'll just say this and this. So if we do that, then we should now be able to create the role. So you see, so we have the registered user. So this one takes the application user and the string. So add the specifier user to the named role. So this is the role that we are adding. So I want us now to try and create a user. So that is when we create a user, we should now be able to add the roles and actually do everything. So let's just launch our app and see. So we just launch our app. We should now be able to populate. Whenever we create a user, we should now be able to populate the user ID and the role ID. So these are very important details that you are going to use it on our application. So if you're not enabled that, so ensure you are able to capture these details. So every time you're creating a user, you should tie them to a role, and those roles should be created automatically when you are creating them. So let's just launch our app and see. So for those who are watching this video and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. We notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you have not subscribed. So there we go. So I'm going to sign in and we are going to create a user. So this is still a continuation of what we have been doing. So I'm trying to ensure that we have everything done before we proceed with our user permissions series. So if we go to system users and add a user, then we are going to have, let me have my macro code. Then here I'll say macro code, then I'll say admin. Then this is mail, and I'll say yes, software developer. Then this is macro code at gmail.com. Then I'll have my phone number. Then my email will be this one, and I'll have my password. So let me just have my password. So I'll just have that. So if I create, if everything is okay, then you're expecting to, let's just come here and see. So if I just have this here. So if I create, let's just say macro code. Do we have that particular email on our ASP.NET users? So let's just check. You should also check that the users that you are creating doesn't have the email addresses. So as you can see, we have that email address here. So what I want is I can say macro code admin. So let's just check if we have admin. So we don't have it. So that's one thing that you should ensure you check whenever you are creating users as well in your application. So I'll say admin macrocode admin at gmail.com. So I'll also take this to be my email. Then if I just create, then you realize that these will be created. So you can see it is succeeded and this has been created. Then if you proceed down here, we're now taking the registered user, which is macrocode admin, and you can see it has all the details and the password has been hashed. Then we have the role. So the user role ID is null. So I don't know why this is null. Yeah, we should check that. So if we come here and check, we should check that our role ID has a value. You see, we don't have a value on our role ID. So that means when you come back to our application user, so let's just fix that. So you should ensure that when we are creating a user, we have the role. So let's just go to SPNet users. So we should go to users, then create. So here, you should pass the role ID here. So this is the role. Let's just do away with this. Then let's do that. So if we do that, so let's try again. So let me now remove some of these users that I want to use. So I'm going to delete from. So I'm going to delete from SPNet users where ID is this one. ID is equals to. I hope I did not log in with that particular information. Yes, so we don't have it. So, and you can actually not able to delete users who have created some records in the database. So if you try that, it will not accept. So this is just for me. So let's just now log in and see. So if I just log in, so I want us to ensure that we have this user role. So we should ensure that we have the role. I don't know why our application is not giving us the role ID, this one. So we should have the role ID selected. Then we should now save the user in our application. So if you go back here and try to create a user, so let's just do the same thing. Macro code, then we say here admin, then the role we have the software developer, then macro code at Gmail, then you say here this is the details, then you can reuse these ones, then password is that. So if we create, let's try. So we have our role here. You see, we have the role and we now have even this is the role ID. I think we need to check why the gender is not coming up. So if we proceed, I don't know if we added it here. Yeah, I'll check on that. So if we just come down here, you realize that this has not been created. Why? You see the issue with the password. Password requires non-alphanumeric characters. So let's just add at here. Then if you create, and you can handle those errors, guys. So if I proceed here, you realize that that has been created. And if we proceed, we have our user here. These are the details. And here we are passing, yeah, I can see why this is missing. So here, I think we can reuse the role ID here. I see why this is missing. So if we try to recreate, we have these not selected. So that was even not the issue. So let's just delete that. So what we need to do, you see that issue that you have been getting. So we need to do this. So you should ensure that on your create, we have this. So you have this so that whenever you try to submit, it doesn't come as null. But you should be able to do, so you should do that. So you should do this and ensure that here we are doing now user dot gender ID. Then here you do user then dot role ID. So if we retry now, let's just go back and see. So if we retry now, we should now be able to save our user. So let's remove the user that we have created. So you see the last user here, which one is it's admin. You realize that it has the it doesn't have the role ID. So and that is not the case. So that should not be the case actually. So you should control that any user you are creating should have a role ID. So I think we added that at some point when we are trying to map our application. So let me just relaunch this. Then we check. So we notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you have not subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider subscribing and also like the video. So let's just launch our app and try to now create a user with a role. Then we see what we want to do. So I'll just sign in. So if I sign in, then we go to system users. We add a new user. We say here macro code. Then this is admin. Then we say here mail. We say software developer. Then we have our email address, macro@gmail.com. Then we have that. Then this is our username. Then we have our password. So you can do that. So if we create, this will now, you can see this has been created. And if we go down here, you realize that we now have the role ID. So this is the role and this is the user who has been created. So if we proceed, there we go. So you see, the role does not exist. So this exception was, so the role does not exist. So what should happen is, we have actually supplied the role, that is the role ID. But what we should supply is actually the role. We should supply the role name. So let's just go back here. So I want us to now do something here. So I want us to get the role, the name of the role that we are going to supply. Then, so let's just say here, at the top here, you can do variable role, or you can even instead of, yes, let's just do here, the top here, variable role details. So this should be role details equals to await, sorry. So we do await the underscore context, then dot roles dot where. So we should say dot where x dot id equals to user dot role ID. Then you can say here find first or default. So this will give us the role. So what I want us to do now is I want us to come here and take this, instead of passing it here, we say here role dot name. So let's just do that. So this should actually give us the named role. So let's just try again. So I'm going to remove the user that we created. So I want to use that account. So I'll just remove my ID here and have it here. So let's just launch our app and now try to create our registered user with so we are trying to map the details to this particular table. So for those who are trying to follow, so you see these are SPNet user roles. So we want to map the role ID and the user ID. So if we just sign in, we should now be in a position to create those two items. So I'll just go to users, then add new. Then here we will now provide, so here I'll say macro code, then say admin, then this is male, female. So this is system developer, then macro code at Gmail. Then I'll do that here. Then I can add these details here. Then I'll provide my password. So if I do that and create, you'll realize that at the top here, we now have the role. So you can see the role is software developer. This is the normalized name and this is the ID. So if we create the user will be created, and down here, we are now supplying the details of the registered user. You can see these are all the details. Then we are now providing the role. So let's just proceed and see. So you can see this has been inserted. So if we proceed, and if you notice what we have done is we have actually supplied here the role name. So not the ID. So here you should actually provide the name for the role. So you can see gets or sets the name for this particular role. So if you go now to our table for SPNet users roles, we should now have our details here. So if you click that, you'll realize that we now have the user ID and the role ID. So these are very important details that we are going to use in our application. So that's one thing that I wanted us to do. So if we try to add another user, so let's just try to add, we say admin, we say admin, then we say macro at gmail.com. Then you say here, this guy, let's say this guy is a system administrator. You provide those, then you can actually provide these details. So here you can provide the password as well. So this guy is, let's call this guy HR manager. So if we create, our application will create, and if we go to the table for SPNet user roles, you realize that this guy has been created and we have their role here. So why are we doing this? So you might be wondering. So I want us to do some enhancements to our program.cs class. So some of the things that I want us to do is I wanted us to add here. We should actually add app use session. So we should actually, our app should be using session. So we say here use session. So that's one thing. And if we use session, then at the top here, we need to map something. Just before app is equals to builder.build, we should add builder.services.add session. So we've been actually developing our app kind of going all round. So don't worry, guys. So here I wanted to do something called options. Then here I want us to do something. So you can say options, then you can set the idle timeout. So you can say equals to time span dot, can say from minutes. So if you want to have these idle, someone is idle on the application, you can say for 30 minutes. Then you can also say options. So this one should be that way. Then these should be options. So you can copy this. So these ones should be options. Then you can say cookie dot HTTP only. Then this should be equals to true. So this is one of the things that I wanted us to set. Then another thing that I wanted us to set is we can actually add some items on. So we can close this here. Then we can actually add cross origin on our app as well. So let's just add that for now. So we can say builder dot add course. So that is dot services. Then you can say dot add course. Then you can just say here option equals to option dot add policy. Then you can just do that. Then we say allow all origins. So you can say allow all origins. Then here you can do builder. So you can say builder equals to, then I'm going to open the brackets there. Then here I can say builder dot allow. So here I can say allow any origin. You can say builder dot allow any origin. Then if we do that, so I can also do here. So let me just do. Can do builder dot allow origin. You can do another one here called dot allow any method. So you can remove this. You can also add any other one. You can say allow any header. So you can say allow any header. Then you can actually close this. So the add, so this one will be option dot add policy. Then you can do that. This one should not be there. So you can do away with that. Then we can have, we can close them here. So then this one will be allow origin. Then you can say allow any method. I was even wondering why it was not showing. Allow header. So these are the methods that we have. So since we have created all this now, we've added the session. And remember one thing that you need to have, guys, ensure you have authentication and you have authorization already set on your app. Then the next thing that I want us to add also, which we should not be forgetting, is here. I want us to add app.use cookies policy. So that is one. We have then we have the session. We have static files, authentication, authorization. Then we also have routing. So I think that is okay. So after we have done with that, then I wanted us to now go back to what we did previously on our user permissions. So we have something we created called my user claim principal factory. And if you are not able to see what we did, you can watch some of the previous videos. So this is how our class look like. You have the generated generate claims, which we are actually using this to get our user permissions. So this will give us all the permissions, and it will actually be taking the permissions based on this particular role. So you see this table here. This one will actually get roles async, and we pass user, then it will give us the roles for that particular user. So I want us to test now our application, and what I want us to do, if we go to the home controller on index, so I want to say variable all permissions equals to, so will be equals to user dot find first. So I want us to do find first. Then on find first, I want us to use now my user dot. You see this claim here. I want us to get this claim. And if you get this claim, it should give us all the user permissions. So I'll just do that and say value. So let's put in a breakpoint here. Then we check if our user will give us all the permissions. And here we are going to log in now with the new created user. You see the user that we created? I want you to check how that works. So the user that we created, which we have their data on this particular table. You see here, we have their data here. These are the users that we are going to log in with their details. And who are these users? The one that we just created. So don't log in with the ones that you had created because we don't have their roles on ASP.NET user roles. So I'm going to go log in with this email, macrocode@gmail.com. So let's just log in. And if we log in, so let's just open our app. So if you're following this video up to this particular point and you like the video, comment down below, subscribe, and even share. So I'm going to have my email there, then I'll just log in. So I'm using now the email that we provided. So I'll need to provide my password. So there we go. So my password has gone through, and this is actually the home controller. So if you check here, this is the home controller I've just indicated here. But if I proceed, you realize that on our all permissions here, on our all permissions, we are getting some strings. So let me just show you what we are getting, guys. So this is what we are getting. So you see this, all these permissions. So these are actually dashboard, view, tickets, dashboards, create. So this now defines for us what the user should be able to access. So that means we are able to get all the details of this particular user. So if I just maybe proceed and let me just dock this. So if we dock that and we proceed, this will take us to the dashboard. And if we go to, remember the user that we are using, we assign them the role system administrator. So if you go to user roles here, I mean to roles, and if you go to system administrator, system developer, I mean, you will see that they have all these permissions. And if we refresh, so since we now have all the rights within our application, so we are going to show you now how to map those rights and actually restrict where the user needs to access. So we are going to cover that on our next video so that we now complete this particular series. So, and the series that I mean here is actually the series for user rights. Then we now deal with other items. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and see you in our next video. Bye.